Yeah, man. There it is. There it is. There it is, bro. Man, if you tuned in for the last ones, you would know. You would already know because we got the lavender. Got the lavender on deck too. You know what I'm saying? On some Hey Arnold. On some Hey Arnold though. We'll be hitting with the lavender button up. I had that for the 2 episodes before that. We keeping it professional. That's how we doing it. Hold on, man. Lights is on. Lights is on. Make sure the light is on. You are now tapped into with the Truancy Hour 223. Let's put it up there, man. Normally I'll have a university hoodie on for things like this, but I have my rotation of hoodies. I throw on a university one, and then I throw on a regular one. Right now we got the MF Doom hoodie that I bought at gasdraws.com. If you want to support that, the man's legacy, and hopefully his family. Hopefully his family is seeing the proceeds of buying Doom gear, Doom merchandise. You know what I'm saying? Gotta rep my guy Doom, man. I've been listening to his music. Actually, as of once it hits Christmas this year, that'll be about 20 years of listening to Doom. Because 2005, when I was in sixth grade, 2005 Christmas, my cousin took me over to was it Walmart? Walmart, and like there was these CDs on sale. Got one for my brother. So, you want to buy a CD? Which is an album. For those that don't know, it's an album, a CD album, compact disc. And it's like you got one for my brother and got one for me, and I didn't know what to choose from. And I remember my brother was like, "Yeah, people at my school are saying there's a Doom guy. He's like one of the best lyricists." And I like, Nas was one of my favorite rappers. Tupac and Nas were like my favorite rappers. So I'm like, okay, let me try it out. So I got the Danger Doom album, Mouse and the Mask, excuse me. Danger Doom, Mouse and the Mask. That is what's it called? Danger Mouse and MF Doom. That was a good album right there. That was like my introduction. But this one, everyone thinks about. I feel like everyone listens to Hoe Cakes or whatever. Everyone listens to that shit, man. If it ain't that, it's it's like Doomsday or something. There it is, man. Out with the moolah. I let it get an outfit. What do you say? Out with the moolah. I let it get an outfit. Some she told me that ain't about shit. I wonder if she meant it. I doubt it. The way it be in her mouth, she can't live without it. Can't live with this. Handle your business. Villain beyond a scandalous whole shitless. That shit funny as hell, bruh. What's the one he said? What's the one he said? Hold on. He said, "True victory, another sick story. I never met a chick that was too thick for me." That shit funny as hell, bro. Shout out to Doom, man. Rest in peace to MF Doom. I want to talk about this shit before anything. Matter of fact, I want to preface it by saying I want to speak about. I thought about it the other day. I want to keep it short and sweet, but I want to speak about the importance of a childhood, man. Just the importance of a childhood. We just got done talking about. I was listening to Doom, start of the end of '05, so like pretty much '06 till beyond. So we're getting close to 20 years of listening to Doom, so that's a dope thing. All caps when you spell the man name. Check this out though. I want to speak to you guys about the university mindset. University mindset is not a place you go, not a space or a place you visit necessarily. It's a space and place within oneself. Because what happens is this, man. You start recognizing the certain things in your life, a degree of things in your life, a degree of things that you have lived through, withstood, survived, handled. You also understand that there is a certain threshold of things that you will no longer tolerate. You understand there's a threshold of things you will no longer tolerate or deal with anymore. It's like, I ain't dealing with that shit no more. I'm not dealing with that no more. You understand? You're just not dealing with it no more. You check it when it's necessary. There's a level of just understanding that these certain things will sit there and ruffle your feathers. Sometimes they might ruffle the ego. You might want to check the ego a little bit. Check the ego a little bit. Make sure that this is something that you're not doing to people, if not you inflict against people or on people to make things worse. Identify if it's something that you've done before and ask yourself if it's karma or if it's a simple fact that, hey man, this new person doing this to me, treating me this way, I need to check that shit right away with the quickness. You know what I'm saying? None of that letting unnecessary things fester. People thinking they can talk and treat you a certain way. You want and you demand a certain level of respect and love for yourself, for oneself, excuse me. And I hope that you get it, and I hope that you understand that you deserve it. Therefore, you can just simply start certifying yourself, the soul, the human being soul of yourself, if not yourself in general, your human self. Just start certifying yourself. You understand? University mindset. We get access to these university spaces and places right here. Get access to the rooms, the reservation rooms, small rooms, conference rooms, whatever. You get access to all that, whether you get it or not. My thing is, when I spend time here, I'm able to have a level of time and patience within this time and space that's allocated to me, that's given to me, that's presented to me. And I'm able to do this on my days off. I go to these spaces and places for a sense of peace, whether I get dealt with peacefully on the way to and from here. And I want to just sit here and just, let you guys know and understand, like, I don't want to manifest any crazy shit in my life. It just happens sometimes. And even with that being said, I still know who I am. People treat me and misjudge me, and I go through that a lot. My own friends do it sometimes. They misjudge me. You understand? They misread me. They mishear me. And it's even worse when a stranger sits there and tries to profile and discriminate against me. There's not much I can do about it, because sometimes I am at the whim of whether or not they choose to call the police, and I end up getting harassed. That's a whole nother conversation, but it's of the same ilk of conversation that we're speaking about here. Because even with that being said, university mindset, I know who I am. I know what my soul is. I know I'm not meant to go through that shit. I know that these people have something dark going on within them that they want to impart on me. When I'm in this space here, and I'm in a place of peace, knowledge, and understanding, I want to impart that same wisdom to you guys publicly through the screen as a documented form of recording. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. That's my contribution with this university mindset here. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm pushing it right here by doing a part 3 in this room. I'm a little strapped for time, but nonetheless, I'm making it happen here. I'm making sure that I do this so that you guys get imparted with a little bit of wisdom, whatever's necessary. So that's the idea of the university mindset. Because people will sit there, go to colleges, universities, community colleges for that matter, vocational institutes, technical colleges, art schools, culinary schools, trade schools. People go to all different types of school outside of the normal K through 12 school or after K through 12 to do, to further their education, to get certain degrees and certain certifications. Start certifying yourself as a human being. Start remembering the positive and the goodness within yourself. Start really recognizing that. You understand? Start really embodying that as much as possible. Really loving and nurturing and respecting that aspect about yourself. That has nothing to do with a degree. It has nothing to do with earning a certification, because a lot of those things that you earn, don't get me wrong, you need some of that shit to do certain jobs. You don't want a surgeon that's not certified. I get that. But certify yourself as a human being, because a lot of that stuff, you will start, people will go to school just to feel better about themselves. I'm back in school, so I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I got the degree now. I did the right thing. A lot of people are in debt, still feeling like they're doing the right thing. Some people are in debt after getting the degree and felt like they didn't do the right thing, because some of them aren't even hired. That's another conversation. But I'm tired of people placing a value on, like, I finally got some nice shoes today. I finally got my car. I finally got all these things. But it's like, who are you as a human being? If you don't love yourself, you're going to keep on filling that void with physical things, whether they're degrees, certifications, or these classifications that have nothing to do with your own barometer and grading system within yourself. You understand? When you can't follow your own grading system of yourself, you'll begin to degrade yourself based off someone else's standards. And you shouldn't do that. Start certifying your own soul. Start certifying your own human being existence for what it is. You might have a lot of things that are against the odds. Some people don't feel great about their skin tone. People don't feel great about their hair, the background they come from, the culture they come from. It's time to start certifying yourself that you come from this and you're still somebody. And you come from this and you're still somebody valuable. And so are the people from your same ilk. Some same people cut from your same cloth. We're all valuable to some degree, man. We just got to stop beefing and fighting with each other. Let's stop that. That's a whole nother conversation, though. It's of the same topic, but you get what I'm trying to say, man. University mindset. I want people to really start loving and respecting themselves. Take the ego out of it. Take the ego out of it. It's not about people disrespecting you and all that. It's about simply just respecting yourself. And it'll start to exude. Once you start carrying some respect for yourself, you'll see that people shouldn't talk to you a certain way, shouldn't try to clown with you a certain way, or test certain limits. People should deserve to love you a certain way. I don't know what that other goofy shit is, man. I don't know what that is. You know, I want to speak about this, man. What I wrote down, it's actually an old note. Actually, no, it was a note I had that I had written earlier in the week. I want to say sometime earlier in the week. I was walking down the street. I was struggling walking down the street trying to type it because I didn't want to lose the thought. I should have just stopped walking and just typed it and then continued walking. But it was so cold. It's so cold outside. I was like, let me keep walking. Topic at hand here for the 223. Did I write that correctly? The Truancy Hour 223. Sorry, we're at a slight angle here. We've been at a slight angle, filming the corner of the room because this particular whiteboard is, for whatever reason, sandwiched in the corner of the small room. And, I'm not complaining. At least I have a room. So the Truancy Hour, TTH, the Truancy Hour, 223, 223, 223. That's how many episodes we're in right now. And, for this 200 to 300 section, we're trying to do as many university mindsets as possible. I'm running out of shirts, guys. Check me out, check me out, check me out. The importance of a childhood, man. I really started thinking about this. The first note I wrote was very simple. All I said was, damage adults. Damaged adults have something to revisit. Damaged adults need to have something to revisit. This is the way I think about it, at least. I believe they should have that. I believe damaged adults should have something to revisit. A lot of times, you'll go through your childhood just experiencing things and enjoying things because your parents, if not whoever is taking care of you, gave you little things to enjoy. Sometimes certain people didn't get things to enjoy. They just got play structures or just small things here and there. You're given things to enjoy stuff as a normal kid, experiencing everyone around you, all the etceteras. You know what I mean? It's really interesting, man. Something happens probably around, teenage years, if not adulthood, where things get a little serious. You got to live a little bit. One of my friends, shout out to my friend, they know who they are. They're about 10 to 12 years younger than me. And they kept on saying, like, how do you guys deal with all this adulting? I'm like, adulting? And, my simple answer was like, honestly, man, grew up in a household where we had handicapped people. So just everyone playing their part and taking care of each other was just normal. Even the days it was frustrating, you just got to do it. So in my mind, it was almost like, I don't understand the concept of adulting. You just have to do it. You just have to take care of people. If not, learn how to take care of yourself in the process. Because I was taking care of elders in the sense of my mom and my grandpa. I was taking care of people older than me that should have been taking care of me or raising me. But I was treating them as if like, their life was in my hands. Like I just had to make sure it was safe and good. As much as they frustrated me and as much as they seemed ungrateful at times. But at the same time, they were able to buy us toys and Pokemon cards, video games, and things like that. My grandpa didn't really care for video games, but my mom would just buy us whatever. She would spend money on whatever. My dad would spend money on whatever, just to kind of, whether it was keeping us happy or just making sure we had things, to just keep up with the other kids or keep up with other people. They didn't want us to feel left behind necessarily. They also wanted to give us a childhood better than their own. So they did their best. It's really interesting, man, because everyone kind of has that where they look back and they're like, damn, I remember playing this as a kid. I remember playing this level, this generation of Beyblade. I remember this video game. I remember this game console. You remember going to the swing? Did you guys ever get on the swing and jump off? You know what I'm saying? You go try to fly as high as you can and jump off. Things like that. Growing up, they had kids talking about, oh man, you remember, on the weekends when there wasn't no school, you just play in the abandoned houses and shit like that. People, just, everyone has different stories. Everyone has different. It's crazy. It sounds crazy, but everyone has different stories. Certain toys, certain shows. People remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Another generation will probably remember, Chowder. Just watching Chowder, Gumball, things like that. Every generation is different, man. But you start looking back, like, damn, that was my childhood. We really had all these different shows, all these different cartoons and animes. Some people are more Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon era, Yu Yu Hakusho, and the other people are kind of more on the Naruto side. Naruto side, and another generation is probably Attack on Titan. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Jujutsu Kaisen. It just keeps going. It's just always one thing after another. Everyone has this childhood thing that they start to remember. But it's important because it's like when you start going through stuff, whether there's traumatic things, like if you were the way I was as a kid, your friends are starting to get shot at and killed. Your friends are starting to get in and out of jail in the teenage years. Everyone's going away. House robberies are happening. People get robbed on the street. The stray bullets that are going past. The shootouts in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Just all the different if, ands, and maybes. When shit starts to get crazy in the neighborhood, what did people start doing? When the drug dealing happening, when the drug using started to happen, they getting high and just forgetting about shit, getting high and giving up on life, kids getting drunk, all that stuff, man, all that normal chaos shit, all that chaos that I normalize, excuse me, all the chaos that I normalize, let me put it that way. It probably isn't too normal for a lot of people. It's probably fragmented here and there, but at some point it's just like, yeah, that's real normal for me. I don't know if that's healthy. Let me close this box. And as I say, close this box, let me open up another one of just understanding that within your childhood, man, there are certain things that is, you know, you got to relive it. You got to ask yourself, what was it like playing this game again? I remember I had a Nintendo 64. I replayed Paper Mario. I played Paper Mario as a kid when things were, I had a lot more to look forward to in life. I was a lot more innocent. And I was just a goofy kid that wanted to have fun, but I was also like on point and wanting to fight all the time. And like, whether there were like molesters in the neighborhood hopping out of vans trying to talk to kids or snatch kids up, we was ready to call them out and throw some bricks at their head, throw rocks at their head. You know what I'm saying? Stupid shit. You have a teen with you and just throw down with these fucking adults. Weirdo ass shit. Weirdo ass shit. We ready to kill these motherfuckers doing some weirdo ass shit. This stupid ass car needs to stop honking the horn. Unless somebody passed out and their head is on the horn. So the importance of the childhood is like, you need to have something that you can revisit at a time of like either you having fun or just enjoying. These people are about to have a road rage right here. I'm looking out the window. This is a university / residential area right outside here. They're gonna have a road rage incident. They need to stop. They need to chill. Because I think there's another school kid playground up the street where they're going. If not like a church or some shit, like just some peaceful shit. They need to. People would disturb the peace. Anyway, it's important to have that. I replayed Paper Mario, and I started asking myself, it was during a time where I should have been focused on being an amateur boxer, and I was over here focusing on video games in my downtime, and posting that into my social media. Like, damn, remember this shit? Got likes from a bitch that was just sitting there, not helping me stay motivated either. You know, actually two of them. So the funny part about that was like, I was revisiting something that I had to find out for myself wasn't going to help satisfy anything. Because a year right after that, I started, trying to go back to school, if not going back to school. Because I started telling myself, like, man, you're doing all this distracting shit and reliving childhood stuff and reclaiming energy and memories that everyone else that's more petty bourgeois and a little more, privileged than you, you're trying to do what they're doing because you're over here having to work and grind all the time and get yourself out of a rut because you're working with a different lower base. You're trying to climb a little higher than them, so it's different. It's different. So you want to enjoy what they've been enjoying too, but you're getting away from everything. You're staying farther away from everything that's just passing you by, all the successful shit. That's so my mind started just thinking like, this is where the second part of the conversation goes, man. I enjoyed spending that time, like the hours on the game, and reliving that. And that's why now you see me whenever I play a game, I document it. You understand? I sit there, I play the game, and I record like an hour at a time of the game. Record an hour at a time. Record an hour at a time. I was like, I will waste hours on this game normally, just trying to relive and reminisce and have some good memories, if you will. You understand? Just having some great memories about something. It isn't happening anymore. But now I can make something off of it. My channel's not monetized, but the day it does and someone views my stuff, you're going to view memories and my interpretation of the game. Memories and my interpretation of the RPG. And you're going to see just a fragment or a piece of me that is living through and living on through the game. No longer do I have to do that by myself and to myself. So when you see people just like reliving, like, let's say I grew up watching Hey Arnold, I don't mind like watching Hey Arnold and then like doing a reaction to each episode. That's the deeper side of doing the reactions. You understand? It's like, yeah, I'm reacting to stuff I grew up watching, man. Let's relive this. Let's react to Keenan and Kel, man. I ain't seen this shit in hell long. I used to watch this all the time as a kid. I forgot every episode. You just react to it and you start asking yourself, like, hey, man, this is dope that I'm reliving this and experiencing and resharing that moment with you guys. You know what I mean? Just having fun like that within yourself and sharing it to the public. And then you might even find other people across the world in different cities that grew up being just like you. Here's the second portion I wanted to speak about, man. I didn't want to pretend like I was overlooking everyone, just, thinking everyone had good childhoods. I think most of us had decent childhoods. Second portion of it is not always more innocent times. Sometimes childhood memories are skewed with negativity. Sometimes childhood memories are skewed with negativity. I'm gonna tell you a show I never finished completely watching a full episode of, because it's like a half an hour, like an hour long. Sesame Street. But Elmo was one of my favorite characters. I don't know why. It's the simple fact that he was part of Sesame Street. He seemed to have his own segment. He seemed to be having the most fun. He seemed to kind of just be a baby in his own little world. When I was a kid, I remember, we had a living room. We had this big TV to the right, and then to the left of it, we had a smaller TV that we would just play video games on. And it's funny because the big TV was on top of an old TV. Anyway, I don't know why every house is like that. Anyway, was it? Actually, my dad might have switched it. But later on, like even right now, actually our house right now, there's a TV on top of an old TV, which is funny. But anyway, we used to do that shit all the time. Put the old TV on top of old TV. My bad, the new TV on top of the old TV. Anyway, point I'm making is this. Bruh, like, I would sit there. There's a table in front of the big TV. I'd be watching Sesame Street, whatever show was on in the mornings with my dad. We're just watching cartoons, like, little baby cartoons, whatever, kid cartoons. I could be anywhere from the ages of 1.5 or 2, whenever I started walking around and running, to about 4 or 5, somewhere within that range. You understand? Some mornings, I don't know if I did something bad or if I spilt something. I don't remember, man. I don't remember. And I spoke about this last time when I talked about familial trauma and just, the fact that I was born and raised in a household where my grandma died 2 months before I was born. So the household was already grieving. And the way they took out that grief sometimes, and this is the way I interpret it, the way they took out the grief sometimes they would whoop my ass for no reason, if not whoop my ass for being wild or just spilling something. Sometimes I would just make a minor mistake, just start getting my ass whooped. But on top of that, I will get thrown into this closet. I say this all the time because I want to make it, apparent. And then for those that need to hear it, I just want to be a little more honest about myself, man. This is why I'm wired a certain way emotionally, where it's just like, I'm passionate about a lot of shit, and like the energy goes up real quick, 0 to 100 real quick. The rage is there. All that energy is just right there, just happening. I will sit there, watch these cartoons, these shows. Sesame Street was one of them. I never got a chance to completely finish it. And I realized the reason why I really liked and gravitated towards Sesame Street. I like Blue's Clues a lot too, though. Blue's Clues is my shit. But, Blue's Clues, Barney? Nah, Barney was okay. I like the characters, but the show was okay. But like Teletubbies, I fuck with the Teletubbies, dog. I fuck with that shit tough. I fuck with, what's the other one? Yeah, bro, I fuck with all them shows. Gullah Gullah Island, bro. You remember that Gullah Gullah Island? Yeah, not Gilligan's Island. I'm talking about Gullah Gullah Island. I don't know if it was in Jamaica or something. I don't know where they were at, but they were just over having fun every day. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit. I randomly would just be eating the fucking breakfast. I might spill some shit. My mom might bring up some shit that I did the day before. You know what I'm saying? She might bring up some female shit. She would bring up some shit I did the day before and address it in the morning. I get my ass whipped for it and then throw it in the closet before my dad goes to work. You know what I'm saying? And then I would just be in there until it's time for lunch. So I was just in the darkness, bruh. I was just in the darkness, just fuming in the darkness, just waiting to get out and play again. And by the time I'm out, I'm already pissed off. You know what I'm saying? I try not to joke about it, man, but it's just like, this is why I try to avoid incarceration in my adulthood. I'm like, man, I know what that was like as a kid. I know it's gonna make the worst version of myself right now. I gotta keep myself open, peaceful, and free. You know, a lot of people don't understand that aspect of the psychology, but there was something deep in that that was happening at that particular time of the day, that Sesame Street was coming on. And Sesame Street, like to this day, just doesn't, like, I don't remember shit. I just fuck with Elmo. I don't know what it is. I just fuck with Elmo. Pause. I sat down with my cousins and a couple other people from the same era of time that I was born with them. You know, people born in the early 90s, mid 90s, and whatever. They start talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're talking about Darkwing Duck. All the 80s babies, too, were talking about all these shows. And like, you don't remember this? You don't remember that? You don't remember this? You don't remember that? I don't remember a lot of things, man. All I remember was getting hit and beat a lot as a kid. Like, for whatever reason. I just remember I would be in trouble. I don't even know why. I would just be in trouble. I don't know why. I'm getting hit. I don't know why. I don't get me wrong. I remember watching Wayne's Brothers, Wayne's Brothers, all that shit. I remember watching a little bit of Fresh Prince, a little bit of Martin, but we were watching Wayne's Bros all the time. It was a certain time of day because you would watch Pokemon, then Wayne's Bros would come on, and it's just like I remember the Pokemon episodes for some reason. Something about the colors resonated and it clicked in my head. Maybe that's why the Elmo thing resonates, and I like colors. I like colorful shit. I don't fucking know. But Wayne's Bros, same thing. Fresh Prince, all the fits in Fresh Prince, I remember them. I remember the fits, but I don't remember what the episode was about because it was just a colorful show. Darkwing Duck, that was my shit. I just don't remember it. DuckTales, that was my shit. I just don't remember it. Alvin and the Chipmunks, that was my shit. I don't remember it. Pinky and the Brain, my shit. I don't remember it. A lot of them shows, bruh. That was my shit. Mighty Ducks, all that. Come on, bruh. All that was my shit. All of that was my shit. All that old Nickelodeon shit, that was my shit. Like pre-SpongeBob, before SpongeBob. Over here rewatching Doug. I forgot about all this shit. I just don't remember it. I know that it was like, you know, just sitting there in front of the TV and watching them things. It was a good vibe and a good energy, just hanging out with my brother or whoever else was there. Even if they were clowning and even if they were doing something to get me in more trouble, to get me hurt again. You understand? Even though they would do shit like that as kids, they don't even know the damage that they were doing or creating or, you know, continuing to whatever. They don't know what they were doing. Kids are cruel like that. You're just kids. Nobody knows that shit. But I remember those days. Like I do remember that shit. These are just unlocked memories. There was a lot of negativity skewed, mixed in with the positive vibe of just sitting there watching and enjoying a show with a loved one or who I thought should be a loved one. Because, you know, even right now, just thinking about that shit, you know, my memory's a little skewed. I'm like, I can't even tell you if there was right or wrong for that, man. Because they didn't suffer the way I did. I don't know any other cousins that was going through what I went through. I don't know, none of my brothers went through what I went through. But, you know, here I am. You know what I'm saying? I take that same energy, I take that same logic, and I take that same just understanding and that healing aspect. And I want to sit there and, you know, it culminates within. I cultivate it. I sit there, mold it into something positive, and hopefully I make it make sense here, man. That's the importance of a childhood, man. It's important to re-explore that stuff and ask yourself, was there a bit of trauma there? Was there a bit of something that should be undone, if not reworked on, fixed? Is there something that we need to re-explore and experience one more time before we let it go and continue to keep doing adulthood kind of stuff? Adulting, like my friend says. Just living life and being responsible. Like I tell you, man, I ain't getting no breaks, man. I ain't getting no breaks. I haven't got no breaks. I haven't got no breaks, man. I didn't even touch base on the water crisis we had the other day, man. You know, they were doing construction outside the house. We started getting some mineral brown water up in the house, man. We're gonna have dirty water for the next 24 hours about. Got so comfortable with this clean water, forgot what it was like to get that clean shit, man. But hey, man, I'm getting to the end of the damn. I got hella phlegm. I'm getting towards the end right here, and I'm gonna have to fork over the room in a couple minutes. So I love you guys and I appreciate y'all, man. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. That's another Truancy Hour. Don't catch me tomorrow. I'm gonna do a couple more recordings. Let's see how many I can knock out. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all, man. Peace.